Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here tonight. My name is Jenna Jo Parker. If you will please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I will call our September 22nd Board of Directors meeting to order. Our reading of our mission and vision statement. Our mission statement, High Point Academy's mission is cultivating lifelong learners in a student-centered environment. Nicole, if you will read our vision statement, please.
To be an exemplary school of choice for academically minded families.
Thank you. And Josh, our 3 R's.
We practice the 3 R's, rights, the right to a quality education, the right to a safe environment, the right to reach my potential. Respect, I will respect my classmates, I will respect my teachers, I will respect myself. Responsibility, I am responsible for my education, I am responsible for my actions, I am responsible for my opportunities.
Thank you. And Matt, if you'll lead us in invocation, please.
Sure. Let's pray. God, we just ask that tonight as we meet, that you would give us wisdom in the decisions that we make to serve the families of High Point Academy. I pray that you would bless the students and their families, that their education would be something that serves them well, both in the short and long term, and that every piece of what we consider and every decision and the way that administration leads would be beneficial to those ends. So we know that wisdom comes from God, so we ask for that tonight in our meeting in the name of Jesus.
Thank you, Matt. Approval of our meeting agenda. With a motion. Thank you, Josh. For a second.
I'd like to amend the agenda.
Yes, Matt.
Number 6B needs to be removed from executive session because we're not going to be doing that tonight.
Okay.
So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the amended agenda.
Okay, so Josh removing your motion.
Sorry, Josh.
Matt has made a motion to approve the amended agenda, striking 6B. Is there a second?
Second.
Matt and Kyle, thank you. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, our Grizzly Spotlight.
Ms. Buster, you're on.
Lots of students to recognize tonight. I'm very proud of them again. Last month we had academic achievement, and this month we do as well. We're going to honor our students, our boys and girls in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade who had the highest math scores in reading and math. So I'm very excited to announce those. So I'm going to start with, I know the kids that are here today. So for 5th grade, I always have to correct myself with him. 5th grade reading, we have Ammon Brown, had the highest math reading score. For 5th grade math, one of our new students this year is Noah Asawada. Also, 5th grade reading, Damian Dinich, come on up. Olivia Larson was our 4th grade top reader. Also a new student this year, so we're glad to have her. And the rest are Alex Brazel, Scarlett Glover, Lennox Proctor, Aaron Dean, Aiden Pradon, and Jackson Camber. Thank you. I'm sorry, Jackson, I did not see you come in.
Up next, we have our middle school student spotlights. We've got 3 students that we are recognizing tonight. The first one is Nolan Bulmer. Nolan is going to be our vice president. Next up, we have Jocelyn Jenkins. She's going to be our secretary. And Marion Pitchen, our president.
Good evening, I'm Tucker Hammond, the high school principal, and have the honor of recognizing 4 students for their national achievement on the PSAT. These students were recognized for certain things that they did on the PSAT, mainly for their high score of the PSAT, but this is again a national recognition, not a state recognition, but a national recognition. So the first person I'm going to call up would be Lila Davis. Lila got a rural and small town recognition award. Also a member of the governor's school right now. Lila's taking an amazing course load right now. We've had to work hard through, right, Lila? We all have. We've all learned a lot of things through that. Next, I'd like to invite up Mr. Aiden Cooper. May take him a little bit with his knee today. He'll be all right. Oh, Aiden gets his first generation recognition award in a rural and small town. And 2 people that were not able to be here tonight, one due to a sports schedule, another due to a work schedule, Ms. Angelina Demitovich and Mr. Matthew Lee.
Congratulations to each one of you. We are very proud of your accomplishments, both in the classroom and in your leadership development. We're especially thankful to our families and our parents for how you support your children, our students, in their endeavors. We're grateful for the opportunity to serve your students. Appreciate you all being here tonight. I'm proud of you all. One more hand. Families, you all are welcome to stay. Our meeting is open to the public. We have some more items to attend to. However, if you have other things you want to get to tonight, you are free to go at this time. Thank y'all.
Riveting stuff. Got so used to Nicole, is this your first meeting? First official, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Still feel like
Oh, yeah. Takes a little while. Definitely.
All right, our first item for board business is approval of our August 25th, 2025 meeting minutes. Those are in your folder for review. Do you have any items for comment?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a couple.
Oh.
That's fine, you can, I have a couple, suggestions for it. It's got virtual meeting at the top still. So we can correct that to, page three business comments. And then, let's see. Under the approval of the minutes, just correct the word appeals to approvals, where we added audit services to approvals. And then under the live stream board meeting policy, if you could add, what the motion was, as Hawk requested a motion, and then add to approve the live streaming of public school governing body meetings policy.
No, you can just keep it.
I will.
I'm not ready.
Yes. Basically just adding the policy name into what the motion was for. And then at the very end, Sarah adjourned the meeting without objection, rather than requesting a motion.
Anything else, Jenna Jo?
Listen, I have time to actually look
I
over
know, it's
things now.
actually.
Oh, I did want to have, one clarifying note. On this, motion that we had coming out of executive session to approve funding the marketing budget for Spartanburg's Best Charter School Marketing, is that because we were awarded Best Charter School in Spartanburg?
That's correct.
Yes, we were, folks.
She just wanted to say that.
Yes.
Planning, how are we gonna do that?
Very subtle, very subtle.
Just to clarify, for future years,
You could have done that in front of all the guests. That would be great.
Bring them back.
Do it next month.
next month.
There's a social post coming up.
That's what that one is. Okay.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve Jenna Jo's edits to the minutes.
Justin, amended minutes, thank you, Matt. Is there a second? Second. I heard Nicole, thank you. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. No, I'm good right now. I do have another note, but it's probably okay. Our August 25 financial report. We are excited to have Chance joining us tonight. Thank you all, or thank you for being here.
He's real.
I know, it's a real person.
Not AI. All right, everyone, again, Chance Madison with Copper Advisors. And this is our August 2025 financial presentation. Just like our agenda last time, we're going to do a financial snapshot. And really the financial snapshot in a couple of these, we want to look at what are the bondholders and various covenants that we want to make sure that we're in compliance with. But also, which leads into our cash and cash equivalents discussion. Once again, we're going to talk a little bit. I like to always have an enrollment and funding update in here so that we can kind of talk about what we anticipate our funding the rest of the fiscal year to look like. We're going to talk about briefly our debt service coverage and days cash on hand, a few key takeaways that just summarizes it, and I'm open for questions and answers. All right, August 2025. Now, there's one thing on here that I just don't want anybody. I like to show financials, and we will look at it a bit later, but I always like to show your financials year to date, because when you look at one particular month, as you can imagine, the school, for example, I was coordinating with Gray about a couple of things that the school may expend an entire budget's worth of something they budgeted for the fiscal year in 1 month. So you really kind of want to look at it year to date. But we did have a net deficit this month. Revenue, two things. One is that revenue in July and August of every fiscal year is based on the prior year's 135-day count. School had a rather significant increase in enrollment this fiscal year, and they will recognize that increase in cash and increase in revenue from September through December based on your 5-day count. So with revenue being an amount that was really based on our fiscal 2025 135-day count with a slight increase in our weighted pupil unit revenue, and our expenditures, we had a net deficit this month of $19,000. That being said, there were a couple of things that we knew we were going to have to spend them this month. They're budgeted. I didn't see anything in budget to actuals as far as your expenditures that jumped out at me at all. Let's go to the next. So our total cash and cash equivalents, again, this kind of leads into a bit of what we talked about, or what I talked about just a second ago. The school at the end of August really was, most schools that I work with at the end of August is typically when you see your operational cash flow, the lightest you're going to see it during the course of the fiscal year. We haven't received any fiscal year 26 federal revenue to date. And also, again, we received that July and August revenue that was based on prior numbers. So at almost $5.4 million, that's a factor of our operational cash, 1.3, money market account at $250,000. Now that was typically, if you look at the prior month, that was a little over $500,000. We moved that because there's been some concern around the timing of when the end of the month money comes in. Not for any reason that the school would be concerned about really meeting any kind of cash flow, but we want to make sure that we house the majority of available unrestricted funds in our investment account there, which has grown to $3.8 million. So yeah, it was actually good move. So again, this is the exact same slide we had last time. I always like to go to at least talk about this for just a couple minutes during the board meeting. The school's 130, just so you can see the difference that we're going to experience in fiscal 26 that's not yet shown up in your financials. Your 135-day enrollment count was 1195. Currently today, Mr. Sherman, I'm looking at, it's 1303.
That's great.
So, I mean, you're talking about 108 increase in students. And the school, again, gets paid on that 1195 multiplied by your current weighted pupil unit revenue of 4331. So really the thing to think about right now is the school's going to experience increased funding the rest of the fiscal year. You know, knock on wood that we won't have any enrollment drop at any future testing dates. But at the 1250 plus enrollment for fiscal 26, the school, as we'll look at earlier, is going to have a very fantastic debt service coverage ratio. And one thing to keep in mind is that conservatively, we budgeted our weighted pupil unit revenue at $4,300 per weighted pupil unit. And as of the fiscal 135-day count with the fiscal 26 initial funding, that was 4,331. So conservative number of weighted pupil units, conservatively when we budgeted with our enrollment, both items look like they're going to come in greater than what we originally anticipated. So debt service coverage and days cash on hand. I mean, this one, if you look at the top, it's like, how general can I be on pace to exceed 1.25? But the reason why I have it that way is anywhere, okay, the school's debt service coverage ratio requirement for the covenant is 1.1. Anything around a 1.25 or 1.3 is going to make investors happy and everything's all well and good. So we're on pace to exceed that. But if we do see that enrollment currently holds as it is, the school's going to have some flexibility to determine maybe down the road whether the board wants to look at potentially amending any type of spend to get more of those funds and instructional capacity into the classroom. So one more, let me go back. I want to talk about one more thing. So if really I'm anticipating a daily cash burn of $43,000, and that's how your days cash on hand is calculated. You take the entire year's overall expenditures, you reduce that by any principal payments made and your capital outlay. So I'm anticipating about $43,000 in daily cash burn, which means the school at the moment has 125 days cash on hand, which is significantly above the requirement of the covenant of 45 days. So here's our key takeaways. August 2025, we did have a $19,179 deficit. But talking about that, remember July and August, we got funded based on our prior 135-day count. Year to date, we had over almost $2.8 million in revenue and $2,650,000 in expenditures, yielding a year-to-date surplus of $131. Now, why is that important? Because The raises that were implemented were actually funded in August, right? When the new contract went into place, August 15th and 31st. So you were able to cover the additional compensation that the school is paying with the old amount of funding and still generate $131,213 surplus. So strong start to the fiscal year circle. Cash and cash equivalents is 5.388. Enrollment, 1195 was at our 135-day count, and we anticipate and are experiencing a significant increase in fiscal 26. So September 25 funding, remember, that's based on your 5-day count, and you get that from September to December. So debt service coverage ratio, I mean, if school gets down to between 1250 and 1255, we're looking at 1.5. Somewhere around the 1275 or even 1300, we're looking at a better year, 1.8 or 1.85. And estimated days cash in hand at this point are 125. All right, do we have any questions?
Does the funding increase, will we see that in the financial report next month? Or will
Yeah.
it take?
Yeah, so the way that, real quick and easy way to think about it is, the district as a whole gets a couple buckets of money in your standard fund. And what they do is they have to allocate that out to all the weighted pupil units in the entire district. Well, they don't update your new year's weighted pupil units until your September funding date. So what they do is they take, okay, your September or your 5-day count was this number. So your yearly funding should be this big number. And they reduce it on what you received in July and August. So then they divide the rest by 10. So we'll get increased funding from September to December. The next big date the school will be thinking about is our 45-day count. So when that does come out, that will adjust your January through April funding. And then the 135-day count adjusts May and June of 26, and then July and August of fiscal 27.
That would be October 15th.
On our,
That'll be our 45th
Gotcha.
day.
45 right now, yeah.
right. So if we're holding at 1303, I mean, that's a fantastic number. So,
I have two questions. One for Chancellor, for you, Mr. Sherman, I'll start with yours. On the expenditures so far and in the close future, anything out of the ordinary concerning?
No, I see
Everything
nothing
stays
on
on
the
track.
horizon. Everything is basically what is budgeted for. As Chance said, we have a lot of supply money up front
Right,
for stuff that goes in
nothing
August.
you don't haven't already
So-
expected.
We probably may only have 50 to 60% in some of those accounts, but they won't exceed what we have budgeted.
Nothing's alarming or strikes you as
Grady, you see anything? I
unexpected.
don't.
No, I mean, for example, one of the things that we pay for upfront is our athletic trainer.
40,000.
Yeah, we pay that to Spartanburg Regional upfront at the beginning of the year, but that's for the entire year.
Right.
Your schools will order a lot of supplies upfront, so I actually think for it to only be 19,000 as a whole is better than we've been. I mean, I think
Yeah.
for some years it's.
Well, the head 131 is probably,
Overall, yeah.
So Ginger, just so you know, what I do is I always look at your year-to-date, and I really just take 100 divided by 12, just to kind of give me a ballpark of where it should be.
Right.
Anything that's populating greater than that, I typically
Yeah.
will coordinate with either Stephanie or Gray. 2 items that generated a question for me was the athletic director's $40,000, and then Smart Fusion was budgeted for, and all of that was done, and we pay all of that. So with those answers being, or with those questions being answered, I didn't have anything that generated any significant concern in budget versus actual funding.
Yeah, the fact that we're still at 131 year-to-date surplus.
Yeah.
It's good. Even
I mean,
for paying all that stuff.
It's great.
First few years of the school, we had to get gap loans.
Yeah.
yeah.
And this time when the funding wouldn't increase, you had to get loans to cover the.
Did you do that at Christmas too, when you were low on money? Christmas time?
Well, it is a challenge. I mean,
Normally
this
don't have in January.
This school's in a unique position that you have substantial operational cash. A
Yeah.
lot of schools that have that type of jump in enrollment, they have to fund those first couple months until their enrollment kicks in. So like you said, some have to take line of credit draws, bridge loans, that type of thing.
And then my next question, Chance, on the FY 25, where did we end up on that as far as our debt service? Or I know we're still working
We're
through.
in the midst, yeah, so we're in the the auditors have the trial balance. The last time I looked at it with Jonathan, who's my staff that is working with me, I believe the school's gonna come in somewhere above a 120 days cash on hand, maybe around a 128 or 129. And right now, Depending on how some of the deferred revenue ends up working itself out, probably between a 1.25 and a 1.3.
Okay.
It's a very solid year.
That's great. That's great. Wonderful.
We're still on track to have all that.
Oh, it will be done.
Okay. Thank you.
That's what I- yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
If I have to drive to the
Well,
Finish it up.
that's great.
any other questions for Chance? Thank you. Appreciate that. Great, always great to hear, good news.
It's always nice to have you present
Yes.
and present.
Yes, we
And
appreciate
to prove I'm not AI, right?
it.
And I detect plenty of pictures in all
Yes.
So you can cut him off, Gracie. Robot.
The AI is impressive though. It really
Oh,
looks
it
a lot
is.
like you.
That's fine.
All right, thank you, Chance. All right, moving on to our superintendent's report.
This one won't be long. Katie, our first thing here, this is kind of something that I'm really looking at now is concentrate on what we produce results, rather results. As our scores get better, I don't want people smelling themselves thinking they're really good. Our concentration should be on what produces results, not on results themselves. We ought to be looking at what are we doing daily? What are our daily habits to ensure that we continue to grow and we don't sit back and get lazy and convenient. We don't want to be complacent in anything, so we want to continue to start looking at the habits that produce results. Not get caught up in just like we may have a little extra money. I don't want to get caught up in that. I want to get caught up in what are the habits that produce those results. Getting kids in school, doing a good job. Let's look at the habits that produce results, not the results themselves. All right, moving along. Important dates. Family Fun Night is October 20th. You need to get as many people here as you can. This is a big night. You don't have to be a member of High Point to be here. All your friends who have kids in school who may be looking, this is the night to do it. 11/6 to 11/9, we will be doing the play Clue. It'll be in the Blue Auditorium. This will be another great opportunity. If you go down to the Blue Auditorium and look at the stage design, it is absolutely incredible. There are 7 or 8 rooms that they have to do, so they have walls that flip and roll. So it's incredible all the things that they have done to set up for that. I'm looking forward to that, and I hope you can come and bring a friend with you. 11/13, Middle School, High School Dance Showcase. 11/18, the High School Art Showcase. 11/20, the Middle School Showcase. 12/11, 3rd grade elementary honor choir, and 12/16, 1st and 2nd grade holiday performance. And once again, graduation is Thursday, May 21st. You may ask, why are we doing all of our Christmas stuff in late November? Simply because when we get into December, we have a lot of testing and things going on, and we don't want to pull the kids. We don't want them out late at night. We want them to be able to study. So we move that stuff up to help us ensure. And it just helps with everything else that people have going on. And then down on the bottom, you'll see graduation Thursday, May the 21st. That was originally Friday the 22nd, which coincided with Memorial Day weekend. So we moved it to a Thursday night for the parents who may be taking trips and that kind of thing. Chris Neely from the South Carolina Public Charter School District will be our speaker that night. He is confirmed. Is that correct, Kid? So he has confirmed that date and he will be here with us. Today's enrollment, as Chance has stated, is 1303. That's as of 2:30 tonight. So if somebody got dropped after 2:30, I don't know about it. Before I say anything else, on the new board format that you have, everything that we're doing is already in your folder. This, you can go to the next slide. This right here was our fall map scores. This is in your folder. If you have any questions or concerns, Ms. Medford is here to answer your questions. Anybody have any questions or concerns or things that you want to share about our map fall of 2025?
If I could just maybe give a little explanation of what you're looking at in case when you were looking at it previously. Those are percentages. Percentage of students that are at or above grade level, and by that, when we say at or above grade level, that is compared to the national norm with NWEA. And those norms changed this year. So for the past 5 years, we have been comparing ourselves to 2020 norms. And so they did re-norm the MAP test this year. So those are the updated comparisons to the national norm. And you can see, I can give us a generalization, this is very promising. This is very good. This is very good. We want to start. So I know there's a misconception sometimes that you think that you want to do poorly at the end of the year, so you show a lot of growth. But that doesn't give us a real idea of where our students are performing. We like for it to be very true, so we know how we can address their instructional concerns or needs. And so these are very promising scores. So we may not have great big jumps, but because they are starting so high, that's really good, and that gives us a true perception of what's going on.
And Kelly, you may want to share with us what me and Gray and Shelley are looking at and talking to Kelly about is we're starting to see more and more positive results from elementary that'll be feeding into. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, Kelly?
Are you referring to the 5th grade?
Yes.
That was our group that 2 years ago had really good SE Ready scores. They were really strong. And so we're very proud of them. They've held on to that. Last year, very strong MAP scores, very strong SE Ready. And then we already see that we're, ahead of anywhere that we've been with that particular grade level. We kind of do the same thing in other grade levels. This is that group of kids is just outstanding. And so we're proud that they have held on to that. And so we're looking forward to them growing even more this year and sending a strong 6th grade class up.
And Ashley, if you want to comment on the 8th grade scores, but I thought they were pretty good too.
I think they look great.
So when we first got here years ago, we didn't have these kind of scores. They're going up. They're not where they need to be. We're not taking a day off. We're going to work harder. The closer we get to the prize, the harder we're going to work. And we'll stop working when every kid is proficient. Every kid is doing more than one thing, and they're active in sports and the arts, and they're all making straight A's. I promise I'll give everybody a half a day off.
It was really good to see those numbers. They're really, really good numbers across the board, honestly, for everyone.
So everything else that was in there, there wasn't a whole lot in the board packet. Next month, you will get quite a bit in the board packet. All the scores will be back. The report cards will be back. We kind of know where we are, but we still have a few things that haven't been told to us. I can't share them publicly anyway because it's embargoed. But by next board meeting, we will have all that information. It will be in your packet, and then you'll be able to ask questions. But we'll have quite a bit of information for you on the October, 26th, 25th?
Something like that.
Whatever that board
The
meeting.
4th Monday.
The 4th Monday. We will have it, and then we will share that. We're having a superintendent's breakfast for all the parents, and we will reshare that with the parents. We wanted to do that after the board. We wanted to share it with the board before we share it with the parents, but that'll be coming up at the end of next month.
Okay. Is there any other questions or comments from Mr. Sherman on his report? Questions? Thank you for that board packet. It's a lot of information in there, a lot of great things for us to look at. I know this was our first month getting it, and something just kind of being wrap your heads around. But really appreciate that. That's going to be very helpful for us going forward.
Well, I think having the information before the meeting will help you formulate questions and be able to, ask us what you really want to know instead of doing it.
Yeah.
And
be able to be prepared. Good. All right, we have any other questions? We have an overnight field trip from Coach Sarter,
Yes.
which is not,
No,
Not Coach
I came in on behalf of Coach Sorter in athletics. So overnight field trip, Coach Sorter and the boys basketball team have been asked to participate in the Low Country, Charleston Low Country Invitational, which happens after Christmas. The dates are December 27th to December 30th. They would look at going down potentially right there the day after Christmas. It would be 15 boys that were part of the program. There would be the 5 male coaches that are with there. There's also one female coach, but It would be a ratio of almost 1-3 when it comes to coaches plus the couple of parent supervisions that would help throughout. There would be a curfew they would have presented both to myself and Mr. Hamrick, the room assignments and all of that, a game schedule as that would get close. Obviously, without knowing the roster, it's hard to participate in that right now. They would go down. We had looked at them taking Mr. Gerard, who is our new bus driver, off campus, as we asked about his availability of potentially going down. And with that, all that would be in the cost. And that's where there's fundraising and such would be focused on, would be helping make sure that they would be able to pay the entry fee along with the hotels and everything else to cover all of that cost. So,
Coach, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Coach Sauter told me that the tournament pays them some money back to help with some of this.
there is in this tournament, there is that based off the entry fee and kind of throughout that. Obviously, the tournament is trying to cover all of their stuff beforehand with all the officials and everything, but this is a bigger showcase, one of the bigger ones after Christmas that happens in the area. And so there is that possibility. The goal and the discussions that we've had is to hopefully to do everything where we're not banking on that and then just see that as icing on the cake afterwards.
And just to add, this is a great opportunity. We have 2 or 3 kids that could play college ball. This is a great opportunity for them to be seen by coaches and scouts. And it's a very highly ranked tournament, and I think our boys will perform well.
What were the dates again?
The dates are December 27th to December 30th. That's a Friday, Saturday, and a Monday. They're not allowed, high school league is not allowed any participation on Sunday, but they would they'd be down there during all that time.
So our overnight field trip policy requires any overnight field trips to be approved by the board. So appreciate you bringing that to us. With that being said, what is the plan for Sunday? Where is it again?
It's down in Charleston.
Charleston.
So their hotel rooms, they would have the hotel rooms from the day before when that starts. Most likely, they're looking at potentially going down on the 26th. And so they would check in that day, and then they would be based on when as it gets closer, when we would know the game schedule and that type of thing, they would either come back on the 30th, or if they have a late game, would potentially come back early on the 31st. It would just be kind of a logistics, see when that happens.
I did talk to Coach Sauter on that Sunday. He may try to take the boys to church. If nothing else, he will do some historic things in Charleston with the boys.
So the plan they would be down there and spend that, they would be there with that, and they would have a schedule of what they would be doing. They wouldn't just be off on their own. Yeah.
All right, and tell me again the name of it.
It is called the Carolina Low Country Invitational Basketball Showcase. Short.
The form is in our folder.
Yeah, it should be shared.
And it's just the boys,
It is just the boys basketball.
boys varsity?
Yes, ma'am. Just the boys varsity. So the participants, most likely one manager, and then the coaches.
Just so you know, the girls are participating in the Battle of the Border at Landry.
Yes,
Oh,
they are.
good.
They are.
All right, so the request is for an approval for the overnight field trip for the Carolina Low Country Invitational Basketball Showcase. Is there a motion for that?
Where's our overnight policy? I would love to be able to ask the questions that are included in our policy.
Okay.
Is it in all our, that forms thing that you showed us that Joe made?
It should be fine.
Mhm.
Should be.
Yeah, every policy should be in there. That deals with that.
Greg, where do I go for that?
On the website, you click on current families.
Yeah.
Then it'll say policies, procedures.
What's the educational value to it? Could you say that? I think you said that, but I would love to.
I mean, obviously on that Sunday also with the educational value with that, with having the ability of seeing downtown Charleston, being able to relate it to South Carolina history, there are a lot of, the benefit of also being able to highlight our athletics to where not only with the educational, but also be able to potentially get them, it based on performance, based on getting eyes, could be the ability of getting more money for a scholarship somewhere else, not only just their academic purposes, but on the other side, on the athletic side, to help offset some of those.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it so just says, and deciding whether or not to approve a request for overnight field trip, the board of directors will consider factors, including but not limited to the educational purpose of the trip, appropriateness for the grade level, risk associated with activities, cost, duration, distance from each beginning, and impact on others.
On those kind of things, does the tournament dictate like what hotels y'all stay in, or is it just?
So when they do this, they usually have hotels that work in kind of cahoots. This is since it's not a startup, they've done this this is their 15th year doing this.
There's hotels.
Yes, there are hotels that they say, hey, if you're able to get that, it could be at a discounted rate. But sometimes those also book up fast, so you try to nail those down. But there are hotels that work in the area. There's also sometimes they also help work with sometimes meals kind of throughout, those type of different things. It just depends on each tournament's kind of a little bit different, but the hotels and the stay and accommodations around are usually already in advance.
They can be sponsors.
Okay, is there a motion for approval?
Sure, I'll make the motion.
Matt, thank you. Is there a second?
A second.
Thanks, Tika. Any other questions? Discussion? All in favor, aye? Any opposed? Great.
Thank you very much.
There is one more condition, Matt. I think it has to be 90 days before the actual event. Is another condition.
Except there is a caveat for sports. It's not required. It's 4 months, but then for sports. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Our parent-family engagement policy.
I wasn't aware this was gonna be done tonight. So I saw
Well,
this.
so that
We
was.
need to do it for Title I funds.
Aren't you the superintendent?
So. Well, I did have a question about that.
Is that a question? Is that a statement or a question?
I think we were trying to get it done last month, and maybe it forgot to get added, so that may be part of the confusion about why we were doing it tonight.
What is the requirement for it?
It's not until November 16th, right?
Title I requires us to have a parent engagement policy that is different from the parent-family compact. It is part of it. I asked the district office and Mary Allison, even though Title I calls it a policy, is it really just procedures, or is it true policy that the board has to approve? And Mary Allison recommended that the board do actually go through the approval process. So did it get put in their folder then?
Yes.
Yeah.
When is it required to be put in place? Or be in place?
Really, if we are receiving title funds, we should do it as soon as possible, I guess would be the best answer.
Would it be, I personally would like more time to look over it and understand exactly what the requirements are that this policy is to fulfill, as well as possibly have it run through the policy committee.
We can probably do that.
If it's not gonna push anything.
There's not an epicenter task or anything to turn it in, it's just.
I think every school, but if you go into most Title I schools, they have a little notebook in the front that is their Title I policy. You can look at it. We had one, but since we didn't get Title I for several years, we've let it go. Gray has redone it.
Yeah.
So it would just be a matter of you looking at what is in the folder and approving it.
Parent and family engagement.
I will say it's pretty prescriptive of what's required to be in the policy. Like I just pulled the reg, there's you have to have a policy, so I compare what's the reg that's required and compared it to what Gray drafted. So it is
Yeah, so that's.
pretty prescriptive what's required to be in there.
In the board approved policy? Yeah.
In the next board.
I have just one suggestion. It looks great. Are you the executive director of compliance?
And fraternity
Okay,
is the. full
the
official
policy
title.
references the executive director of compliance and it says contact information below, and it has your contact information below. I think it'd be helpful if it said, by your contact information, executive director of compliance. So if somebody's going, I have to contact the executive director of compliance. It just connects those dots because people aren't that bright. You might be giving people a little more credit. And it might just be helpful to put your. It's my only suggestion. Take it or leave it. I'll be glad to vote for its approval, even if you don't do that.
Maybe we'll tell them to direct questions straight to the board.
No, I like
They go superintendent.
That's funny. Okay, so I would like to have more time to review it against what the requirements are, and run through the policy committee. However, is there a motion for this evening to approve the parent-family engagement policy as presented?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Kyle? Any other discussion? Nobody else wants to discuss this?
I made my discussion, I said.
All right, all in favor, aye?
Love that, Brian.
Any opposed? JoJo? Nay. It's not because I disagree or disapprove of it, I just would like more time.
Okay, it's okay. It's fair. I
Thanks,
love it
Matt.
however you want, it's free time.
Thank you. Are we sure? Okay, public comments? None? All right, do we have a motion for executive session for pending contractual matters?
Motion.
Josh, thank you. Second? Matt, all in favor, aye? Aye. All right, we're in executive session. Thanks, guys. Thank you all.
Hey, don't. Yeah, I want you to say.
See ya.
I want you to-